Well, there's been some interesting news regarding UFC 295's main event that I don't think we expected to see whatsoever, especially with the circumstances leading up. But Jon Jones injured in training for the Stipe Miocic fight. That fight is off. Stipe Miocic, you'd assume, is going to take on a contender for the interim heavyweight championship. Instead, they're scrapping both competitors, and in comes Sergei Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall to fight for an interim heavyweight championship in the co-main event of UFC 295, and they'll fight behind the light heavyweight interim title fight between Alex Pereira and Yuri Prohaska. What to think? You first get the news, I thought it was a spite at Stipe Miocic for not wanting to fight an up-and-comer in maybe like negotiations they've had after Jon Jones was hurt and before we got the announcement yesterday. But then we get Mark Raimondi coming out and breaking some additional news that they still plan to do Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones for the heavyweight title in 2024 when Jon Jones is healthy, which doesn't make much sense to me because it's an 8-month rehab. And is he going to be fight camp? Is he going to have a fight camp in the rehab of his injury? It doesn't make much sense to me in that case. We get a banger fight. I don't think. Obviously, this fight is still a great fight that I'm really excited to see. Maybe even more excited than Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, even though that kind of had a super fight feel, where this just has two uber talented, young, hungry up-and-comers going at it for the heavyweight title. But now what? Does the winner of Aspinall and Pavlovich sit on the sideline until late 2024 for an entire year and a couple months while we wait for Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic winner? Do either of those guys retire? My idea at this point is that either Jon Jones or Stipe Miocic win the title and retire, and then Aspinall and Pavlovich, whoever won that fight, you just upgrade them to official champion. They both don't get that super fight with Jones or Stipe, and we sing Kumbaya and we move on with the division. Jon Jones out of the UFC, Stipe Miocic, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, out of the UFC, and we get this new crop of talent. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think it's interesting that they're still aiming to do the Stipe Jon Jones fight and not putting the winner of this fight, not putting the winner of Aspinall versus Pavlovich in that spot to replace Stipe Miocic? Or are you content with this contender, basically a contender fight for an interim championship to continue to sell seats for UFC 295 and justify the seat prices that of the fans that thought they were going to get Jon Jones versus Stipe, but are still going to get a great heavyweight bout between two remarkable fighters? Do you think that this is the best way to go about it? Are you in awe? Are you wondering what the UFC is planning on doing here? That's where I'm left. More questions than answers for me. And hopefully we get some MMA media asking these questions in the lead up and after the fight at UFC 295. But that'll wrap up today's news video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe to Combat Sports Central, and I'll see you in the next one.